Chat, I saw a video on my YouTube homepage from Joe Bart, and I was interested by the title because it was something about the streaming space, which is like the only space that I have any knowledge about. It was called, Is it impossible to become a streamer today? So I clicked the video because I was genuinely curious about it. And while watching it, to my fucking surprise, I saw my dumbass face. And I was like, what the fuck is this? It was a totally random video. My dumbass face came up. So I haven't watched this video, but I stopped watching Joe Bart's reaction, and I wanted to take a look at the video together. Now, it's called He Proved Streaming is Impossible in 2025. I think I am the he. I don't know if it's me or Kai Cenat, but I proved, which I don't think I've done, by the way. I don't think I've proved that streaming's impossible. I don't think I've done that, but apparently I have. So let's take a look.
Streamers are getting paid more than NBA players. That is, if you're...
Okay, so, sorry, I didn't mean to pause. We're 2 seconds in. That's wrong. That's wrong. Nope. No, they're not. No, they're not. I think you could make the argument that 3 people who stream make more than some NBA players, but not because they're streamers, because they either have massive percentages in a platform or big contracts for gambling, but not because they're streamers outright. That's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. Let's just not even close, but okay.
You're looking at superstars like iShowSpeed.
Okay, you know what? Justin Bieber does stream, so streamers like Justin Bieber make more than NBA players. What is, out of curiosity, I'm curious how wrong it is, biggest NBA contract? I just don't even know what the biggest NBA contract is. Obviously, it's like a big deal in baseball. Jason Tatum has the biggest contract. Is this 313 million for 5 years? So, okay, so what, $313 million for 5 years? And then Jaylen Brown has 285 for 5 years? Dude, there's I don't know, there's like 100 people who are making over $100 million. Look how many people are making 100 million. We're not close. Anyway, I digress. I would say streamers make more than hockey players. Yeah. Maybe, yeah. Still not true. Highest paid hockey players. Sidney Crosby. Oh, this is lifetime. I mean like per season. Oh, here it is. The 2025 season, the highest contract is $16 million. No player can earn more than 19. No, that's true. Streamers make more than hockey players. Yeah, I think that's true. WNBA players? Yeah. TikTokers are making more. Like, what are we talking about here? WNBA. The salary's like 75 fucking K, dude. A university professor's making more. Like, what are we doing here? Yeah, gapping. Absolutely gapping. If we have it Gavin Newsom's way, Starbucks employees are going to start making more than them.
Kai Cenat and Aiden Ross. But many people don't want to accept the reality that becoming a successful streamer in 2025 may just be impossible. But somebody was hell-bent on proving that wrong. The former world record holder for most subscribers in the world tried starting a new secret channel and came across some shocking results.
Can I start a new Twitch channel and become successful again? Or was it all luck the first time? That's the question I wanted to find out.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay. I don't know this YouTuber. This is one of the dumbest videos of all time. This video is so dumb. I mean, bro, okay. Look, okay, let me, hold up. Let me, okay. I am giving too much credit to this YouTuber. They're a daily slop YouTuber. This video was made with the idea of getting views, the clickbait title. There's no real thought behind, I think, the thesis, which is that streaming is impossible in 2025, which obviously the answer to that is false. It is not true. It's not true at all. And, and I think there are more people streaming, but there are also more people who are becoming successful streamers year over year. Like just the raw number, not the percentage maybe of overall streamers, but the raw number. Yes. It's like obviously a no. And the fact that the proof for the thesis is my video Which the purpose of my video, by the way, wasn't to show that streaming is impossible. It was to show that it is a waste of your time to only go live on Twitch. Which, by the way, was the case when I started streaming as well. That was the case back then as well. That has still been the case. So, okay. Anyway, let's continue.
Hugely successful streamer Ludwig discovered just how
Sorry, I wanted to hear that again.
First time. That's the question I wanted to find out
the hugely successful streamer Ludwig
word he's
discovered
the first time. That's the question I wanted to find out.
the hugely successful streamer
Hugely successful. Okay, just wanted to. Sorry.
Ludwig discovered just how painful it is to get your first viewer on Twitch. And even after you build an audience, there are multiple stumbling blocks. The streamer Illuminati has delivered some pretty harsh truths about the current state of streaming himself.
Bro, Twitch is changing. A lot of y'all that's at the top, I say y'all is at the top of the pyramid. Y'all probably don't see what I see when you tap out and then you get a chance to look at what's taking place.
The original beauty of streaming was
That wasn't a complete thought. That wasn't a complete thought. That was the start of a sentence. It's changing. You don't see it. How is it changing? What is the change? Why did we cut that off? What is the change? Dude, I'm not even fucking, okay, I'm not trying to hate too much, but that is the equivalent of like writing a 5-paragraph essay and being like, to quote Albert Einstein, then. And what did he mean by then? Like, that's not a complete thought.
it was a level playing field. With just a computer or even a phone, you could become the next Aiden Ross. But once you really break down what's happening now, it's become incredibly clear that this ship has well and truly sailed.
No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't in any way, shape. What do you go? So, okay, so let me get this straight. The ship has sailed. There will never be a successful streamer again. It's only the current successful streamers who continue to be successful. And 10 years later, we're just going to have 40-year-old Ludwig, 33-year-old Kai Cenat and Speed, and they're still there, and there's no new people? It's just the same people, but they're all older now?
The streamers we know and love
What was that? Okay, this is, okay.
today are all incredibly talented, and it would be foolish to assume that just anyone could maintain an audience's attention for hours upon hours on a daily basis. At the same time, they did gain a lot of momentum from the wave of popularity streaming has experienced in the past 5 years. And Ludwig is a perfect example. He's a funny guy, but he also started during the early...
Dude, I don't feel like any of these words mean anything. I'm sorry. I'm getting angry watching this. I didn't expect to get angry. I'm getting angry. I feel like a teacher who knows a fuck ton about World War II being forced to watch a presentation from a student who did their work the night before. And I have to sit through the presentation, but I'm thinking of so many notes in my head right now because it is so surface level.
Years of streaming when it was really developing in 2018 and benefited from the intense popularity streaming received during the pandemic, but just how much luck and talent played into his success is something he often gets asked about by his fans.
You see, after Streamer Games, I met a bunch of subscribers, and you guys were asking me some random questions, including questions about live streaming. And somebody asked me, Ludwig, could you do it all over again? If you had to start a Twitch channel...
The answer is yes, I could. The answer, I could. The issue... for me to do it over again, it would be difficult to divorce who I am currently. Do you know what I'm saying? I couldn't do it over again as a different person because I'm still me. So like I would have to somehow mask that I am me. Because if I were to succeed, you know, obviously doing it over again in a way that was like VTuber, it would have to be like a VTuber with a voice changer that like there would be so many layers to it. For example, like, cause Jaden, you know, I don't know if this is like fucking an open secret. There are VTubers who you know who they are prior. Okay. That's all I'm saying. I'm not naming who. And so it's like, you can't be like, well, they got successful from grounds. Cause you know what I mean? It's not, so it's like I would have to somehow like divorce those two.
From the ground up, could you become a successful streamer?
But And by the way, successful is also, I don't think I could reach the same level of success. Like if I were to somehow wipe my existence from the world and then start over, I think with the knowledge I have, I could get enough viewers to like do it full time, which is like 150 to 200. But I don't know if I necessarily would be able to hit 10, 20,000 viewers. I think that part is different. That part is harder. But like to get moderately successful, I think so. I think so. Because I think I'm good enough at short form content, long form content. I think I could.
Once again, to which I said, of course, I'm good at talking to chat. Then they brought up a good point. I wouldn't have a chat to talk to.
The sad reality is that there are many streams where simply nobody is watching, and this leads to a simple catch-22 situation. You need viewers to get popular, but you also need to be popular to get viewers. But Ludwig figured that it
It's like the SpongeBob fire gif.
should make sense that if he generated millions of subs before, he should be able to do it all over again.
Now, not wanting to be the expert live streamer who doesn't know the answer to a question, I said, well, I would just talk as if there was a chat there. But can I actually do that? I can basically go live with any...
You know how I know I can do it? I made up all of this. Like I made up this entire thing. I made up all of this for the concept of a video and the intro to a video as a good hook. Nobody asked me this as streamer games. I made every aspect of this up, literally top to bottom. None of it happened. Nobody asked me how to do it. I didn't reply anything. I made all of it up because I thought it'd be a compelling video. None of it's true at all. I literally thought to myself, it would be funny to go live on an alternate channel until somebody found me. That is the premise. Then I built backwards to, okay, how did we get to this? What is the thing I'm trying to prove? What is the point of this premise? That's what happened. That's what if you want me to show you how the sausage is made, fucking Upton Sinclair's really revealing the truth here. That's what happened. So, you know, to then extrapolate a video that's made for entertainment purposes as if it is some thesis on the actual state of the streaming industry, this video, and we're only 2 minutes in, the purpose of this video is to get a daily upload out because this person does daily uploads to continue their streak with no value added to any human at all except for something to continue their livelihood, which it is what it is. That's what I did too. That's what I did too. Then why watch? Because it features me and I think it is making an argument that I disagree with using me as proof for that argument. That's why.
A few thousand people are guaranteed to show up. So can I actually live stream with no chat? Or better yet, can I start a new Twitch channel and become successful again? Or was it all luck the first time?
Ludwig opened a new account called Retired Athlete 31.
You gave them the ammo. I made a video that I think had a conclusion that they completely misunderstood that they use as ammo. So now I'm using the same thing that I'm correcting them by reacting. This is good. What I'm doing is a good thing.
And started streaming in the just chatting category, which is the most popular section of Twitch. Only problem was he was just chatting to himself.
This is my chat. Now, normally on my actual Twitch chat, there are all...
Dude, this is just my video, but paraphrasing the transitions. This is crazy. This is like when I watch an AI video of like The Sopranos. And it's like, watch how Tony Soprano deals with his daughter's boyfriend when she tries to pay. And then it's like the scene where they're at the restaurant and he secretly pays.
Always people there typing constantly throughout the day. This Twitch chat has no reason to have anybody in it because 0 people follow this Twitch channel. 0 people know it even exists. So I'm hoping we can get some people in here. I don't know how long it'll take. I don't know if anyone will even come in the first place, but I'm hoping I can get somebody in here.
When Ludwig started streaming in 2018, Twitch had about 3.4 million unique broadcasters on average per month.
Sure.
By 2025, this figure was now 7.1 million. So he was now faced with double the competition.
Boom! What is up? What is up, y'all? How we doing today? Chat.
But, okay, you're faced with double the competition. I also think there's double the amount of successful streamers. Like, yeah, that is a metric of people who go live every month. It doesn't include the amount of people who watch every month, which is also a larger number. There's more of a pool to be divided. Also, mind you, by the way, okay, do you know this is a real fact? If you want to be a top 10% streamer in the world, and this is easy to do. If you want to be a top 10% streamer in the world, go live twice. Congrats, you did it. 92% of streamers go live once and then don't again. You want to be top 10%, go live twice in a month. That's it. That's the reality. You know, it's cutthroat. It's difficult. Okay, sure. I would argue a lot of industries are. But factually, the biggest streamer alive has not yet been born. The biggest streamer that I will probably get to see, you know, or I'll be around to stream with. Well, I guess that sentence doesn't make sense. The biggest streamer of our lifetimes has not yet been born. Let me say that. The biggest streamer, the person who will be the biggest streamer has not yet been born. Like, streaming will get bigger as an industry, and somebody will be more successful at it than anyone has ever been who is not yet alive. In the same way that the best basketball player to ever do it probably hasn't been born yet. You know, this argument, almost every single field, humanity just kind of gets better at. It's pretty rare for us to dig our heels in the sand and say, okay, we're not able to improve at this anymore. Like, we're pretty good at getting better at shit. What about LeBron? I think if 500 years pass, there will be a much better basketball player than LeBron. It won't be close. In 500 years, they're going to start making Kuroko's no Basket live action. You're going to have a guy pulling up from full court. Been working on that shit his whole life. Probably related to Tyler from, you know, Dude Perfect, I would imagine. But you got to think much bigger picture.
What's my goal today? My goal is 1 follower. I like that. That's an achievable goal. All right, when that shit is complete, I'm a happy man. All right, well, I'm just gonna keep chat up on the side here, and I don't know. I guess let's just start doing some stuff today. So first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to bang through my daily games. All right. Peace.
After a few minutes, Ludwig...
Dude, I'm actually nitpicking at this point. I have a pet peeve when videos mute like curse words and cuss words after the first like minute. And the first minute it will demonetize your video. After that, like you can just say penis. It's okay.
got what he thought was his first follower.
Oh my God. I got my first follower. Okay, wait, are you a bot? Are you a real human? Newbie Twitch girly loves cosplays. Follow for future streams, and you have an OnlyFans. Why do I get the feeling that you are botting to follow a bunch of new accounts so that pathetic streamers like me
Issues with bots. The company recently cracked down on botting and noticed that on some accounts, 5 to 22% of the audience was completely fake. But while staring at a blank screen, Ludwig sympathized with the people who did this.
I get why people view bot. What
Dude,
the f are you supposed to do on Twitch if you don't view
Okay.
bot? You're just stuck in damned hell waiting for one person to drag you out of it. I get it though. I understand why someone would want to view bot. I'm not condoning it.
This is just my video. This is actually just my video, and I'm like, does this not become just my video? This deadass actually just my fucking video. Okay. It changes after minute 9. For the first 10 minutes, this is actually on God just my video. I'm not going to copy strike. I don't think I've ever copy striked a channel ever. I'm not going to start today. But this is deadass just my video.
But if you view bot, you'll have real.
Because of the way the algorithm works, and then to pay ban because this is against terms of service. Rice Gum was famously banned for this nearly a decade ago. Ludwig soon realized that the just chatting was too broad of a category, and he's
but chatting. So how about
Okay, spoiler alert. I jump between a few games. Eventually, I start opening cards, and then somebody comes into my stream when I'm opening One Piece cards, and they're real. It's a really good video, I think, but this is like the worst way to consume it I could imagine, because it doesn't really even condense the video. Like, it's not even like they condense it into a short. Like, it's the same video, just like the same. It's just with filler. It's like that episode of One Piece where they tell you what happened 10 episodes ago. It's like, well, I saw this, bro. I'm good.
downward spiral for the past 5 years.
This one's overall viewership from Twitch Tracker. It shows the COVID boom in 2020, the 2021 peak, and the steady decline ever since. 2022 dipped below 2021, 2023 was basically flat, and 2024 trended slightly down. Now that we're in 2025, viewership is at its lowest that it's been in years. That's brutal.
And it was not just the pandemic that generated this downfall.
Okay, this is stupid, right? Like you were using a clip of somebody going through the viewership to explain how the viewership is dropping. Now here's the deal. This is an old clip. This video, when was this video made? This video was made 3 months ago. There's more information available since this clip. This clip was a few months old when you made it a few months ago. So you can just find that same, that's not like secret information that they found. It's just Twitch Tracker. You can just go to Twitch Tracker and then get a more updated view. Now, I don't think Twitch viewership is declining over the past few years. It had a peak during COVID, sure, but I think live stream viewership, maybe Twitch has less of a market share. I think that's true, by the way. I think factually it's true that Twitch has less of a market share, but I think live streaming as a whole is larger than ever. I think pretty inarguably. And I feel like just looking at like 2025 had a big dip. Okay. I believe this dip actually coincides with when they started taking action against botting, which I don't know if they reversed, by the way. They're pretty weird about being vocal about that. But I think if you were to look at like metrics across all live streaming platforms, there are more people watching and live streaming overall. Right? Like even colloquially, I think you guys would understand this to be true. Intuitively, you'd understand this to be true. If Twitch has less of a market share, that doesn't mean live streaming is smaller.
Nightinator, who has over 60,000 subs on Twitch, pointed out that after the pandemic, we experienced a cost of living crisis, which also destroyed many people's dreams of becoming a full-time streamer.
A lot of streaming is crowdfunded, meaning that we get our income from people subscribing and tipping. But in this economic climate, unfortunately, people just don't have that money. And whilst there are other ways to diversify, such as getting sponsorships and brand deals, those are normally few and far between. And they're normally reserved for people who have quite a big audience.
Okay, I could be wrong about this, but I think streaming is one of the most recession-proof jobs. It was one of the few industries that boomed during the COVID recession. I don't know if I buy this. This sounds, like a personal anecdote, and it's very possible that, somebody could see maybe a dip, but I don't think COVID is very different from a normal recession. Maybe that's true, but I don't know if I agree. I don't think that and I guess we haven't had outside of COVID and because I'm trying to think of going through a recession with YouTube or streaming. And I guess the only time was COVID and, arguably now. But I really don't think that's accurate. I think the biggest risk would be maybe corporate ad dollar spending going down and then ad rates going down for YouTube and Twitch because of that. I think that would probably be the biggest risk. And lower subs. Maybe. Yeah, maybe that's true. I don't know. That feels more just based off intuition than any actual objective data. That feels like something you say that sounds nice more than data backs that point. Do you know what I mean? A 100 viewer Andy is carried by gifted subs. Again, I think you were going off your intuition, 100 viewer Andy is based off the generosity of a few people in an economic recession. Those few people aren't going to be gifting as much money, and then they're going to be not able to support their livelihood. That sounds great. I don't think there's any objective data that backs that up. And unfortunately, I feel like you'd only be able to look at the overall amount of subscribed channels through the top, 10,000 or however many are tracked through Twitch Tracker versus viewership and that sort of relationship. But I don't know if there's been much of a dip in that aspect. But look, this is possible. There might be anecdotal evidence for some 100 viewer streamers that disproves that. But I don't know if the industry as a whole is reeling in a way where sub counts are dropping drastically.
Your cost of living suddenly went up. One of the first things that you would do is cut off non-essential spending. And supporting your favorite streamer sadly fits neatly into this category. You also need to keep in mind that anything a streamer earns from Twitch is revenue and not profit. Streamers starting off on average will spend about $400 on equipment, not considering the PC, and small streamers earn anywhere from $50 to $1,500 a month. So it might be a couple of months before people even break even on the cost, and that's assuming they grow. The popular streamers...
Supporting Ludwig is above paying my bills, not gonna lie. And... they have never subscribed following since 2020. 6 years following, never subscribe. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate you. I know you got me.
Snowcone also broke down how, despite receiving quite a lot of money from Twitch, she was actually losing money.
Y'all know how expensive it is to keep up with content creation? You can get a 10K check from Twitch. What the is a 10K check? Spend 5K on trips just to travel, $500 on setup, $2,000 on your rent, $200 on Wi-Fi, $200 on IRL toolkit. You gotta pay the clippers, pay your YouTube.
So this clip went viral.
Okay. Oh, bro. We don't need Caleb Hammer for this one. Someone balance my checkbooks. 10K a month, 5K on trips, 2K on rent, 5K on clippers. Can someone help me? It's like, yeah, okay. That's kind of an easy one. That's kind of an easy one. We just got to balance the books a bit better.
Because she's obviously poor with managing her money and is an extreme example of some of the costs that comes with streaming. But even getting into the Twitch partner program by itself was a huge obstacle, and the percentage of users that get into the program is shockingly low.
Looking at Twitch tracker data, there are 6.4 million channels streaming on Twitch every single month.
Okay.
And only 45,000 of those channels are partnered. That puts the percentage of partnered folks making a pretty decent income at only 0.7% of live streamers on the entirety of Twitch. And I would imagine YouTube might be in a similar ballpark.
YouTube.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't think it's changed. I don't think this is like a 2025 issue. Here's the issue that I have with this video. I think a lot of people like to put up barriers to trying things, and everyone thinks they're too late. Everyone thinks that something, a field, whether I don't know what it is, like whether it's a sport, you're trying to get into speedrunning, you're trying to get into content creation, you're trying to, whatever you're trying to do in life, people love the it's too late. Had I been born earlier, had I started when there were less people, I would have been able to succeed at this thing. I think that is a pussy mindset. I think you are weak. I think you are lame. I think you would lose regardless. And that's a mean thing to say. I think realistically, you would have thought the same thing had you been in that era that you're glorifying XYZ years ago. Okay? I think you would have done the same exact thing. All right. I think what you actually have to ask yourself is, do I enjoy doing this thing? Do I think this thing will be around for 5, 10, 20 years or however long it is? And I think if both those factors are true and you want to do it, then you need to be delusional enough to put yourself out there and do it. But that's what bothers me about this video is it's like, this video is another thing that is like building this wall between you and trying the thing. Why are we building the wall? Like, yes, is it difficult to become a full-time streamer? Absolutely. It was 5 years ago. Okay. Is it maybe, marginally harder? Did it go from, hey, 0.9% of streamers are partnered to 0.6%? Maybe. But was your pursuit of it because you thought it would be an easy thing to do? If so, you probably weren't cut out for it in the first place. Like, I don't get it. I don't get the point of this.
It's difficult to make a like-for-like comparison because it's not exclusively streamers, and there are users that are simultaneously YouTubers and streamers, but there's still only a small percentage making real money. Less than 6% of channels are in their partner program, and 90% of channels are under 10,000 subs.
And 92% of channels go live once and then never again. Like, what? I'm sorry, because they have gone live one time and they consider themselves as streamers, they should be able to make revenue off of it? Like, what are we doing here? These numbers don't mean anything. There's no weight behind them. It's not like, those 90% are putting in 500 hours every fucking month grinding at it, failing. Now, there are people who are doing that, and that absolutely does happen. But there's also a lot of streamers who are starting in the last 1 or 2 years who are very successful and blowing up. And I keep up with those, by the way. I follow a lot of small creators. I'll just follow them on Instagram. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, there's a trend on basically every single social media site. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, where they artificially are inflating small accounts. Because they understand that those small accounts will eventually be big accounts, and they need them to have a leg up in the game. They need them to have a cracked door to get in through. So I see, just anecdotally, like a bunch of channels like that all the time. And if you try content creation, this happens on a bunch of apps will do this as well. It's a little psychological. They'll do this thing where in one of the first few videos you'll make, they'll artificially boost in the sense that they'll put it in front of more people and that video will do much better. You know, almost encouraging you to keep doing it. You know, a little carrot on the stick. That'll happen to you if you were to even start. Obviously the video has to still be good, but that happens. Like the dating apps. Do the dating apps do that? I haven't been on dating apps in God knows how long, but anyway, this is, look, I don't, again, not trying to hate. I just don't understand the thesis or the logic behind it.
A YouTuber pointed out that streaming in 2025 is having a, quote, after the gold rush moment.
And this happens in all industries. It's happening crypto, cars, Airbnb, et cetera, where there is a rush to get into this gold mine of a world. Trust me, I've had people proposition me to come and set up their streams, and I've thrown up like stupid amounts of money in order for them to sign up, and they've literally just said yes. But this stuff that they are doing is not sustainable, and just like every other bubble before it, .com, real estate, whatever the case may be, it will burst.
In November of 20...
But this isn't a bubble. Like, even the perspective of relating streaming to like speculative house purchases or crypto is like viewing it as a cash cow and not like an artistic endeavor or like creative pursuit. You are doomed to fail in the first place, of course. If you're looking at streaming like drop shipping, then yeah, you're going to be fucking shit. If the purpose of streaming is because you see the money in it and you want to milk the cash cow, you're going to be shit at it. You were always doomed to be shit at it. You would have been shit at it 10 years ago, and you'd be shit at it now.
24, Twitch experience was known as the Twitch apocalypse, where multiple advertisers realized just how fruitless it was to advertise on Twitch. According to a marketing expert and someone that's worked in esports and streaming for many years.
Oh my God. Dude.
Years, Devin Nash, Twitch is considered a niche product or experimental.
Yeah, okay. Now, I got a lot of shit for this because I made a video about how the adpocalypse is fake. It turns out it fucking was fake. I tweeted at Devin Nash. I bet him a fucking car that it would be fake and I'd be proven right a year from them. He didn't reply to that tweet because he probably fucking knew he'd lose a car in the outcome. There was no adpocalypse. I think a commercial sponsor left. A commercial sponsor left. One.
Budget. Most agencies don't know if Twitch ads work or not, so they assign a small percentage of their budget to see. The rest of their budget goes to tried and true market leaders like AdSense and Meta. So the first thing to understand is when a niche ad product underperforms and or has controversy, it's the easiest and fastest to cut. So streaming seems to be a more and more difficult place to build a career, but we are increasingly exposed to viral stories like Streamer University and Streamer Prom, and while these events might have inspired people to start streaming, they are actually a part of the problem. Streaming used to be synonymous with gaming. And a matter of fact, you used to get banned if you weren't gaming on Twitch. But it's now categorized into IRL streaming, where someone is out in real life, and desktop streaming, where someone is in front of a computer. IRL streaming has been around since the early days of the internet, but has only really become mainstream in the 2020s with people like Aiden Ross, Kai Cenat, and iShowSpeed popularizing this type of content, with Kai Cenat doing less of in-public things as compared to an iShowSpeed. All of these pioneers have changed.
All right. Look, it's just historically wrong. It's just historically wrong. IRL streaming started because of Ice Poseidon during Pokemon Go, but whatever.
Streaming forever, but not necessarily for the better. In 2024, you had Kai Cenat streaming with Kevin Hart, Aiden Ross meeting Trump, and iShowSpeed continuing to travel the world. The type of content became more aspirational and more entertaining, but became much more difficult for new streamers to replicate. And this is something that veteran streamer Soul Illuminati decided to speak about in August of this year.
Bro, Twitch is changing. A lot of y'all that's at the top, I say y'all is at the top of the pyramid. Y'all probably don't see what
This is the same clip. This is the exact same clip from before, by the way. There's not even a different clip. It's the exact same clip. I hope it's extended this time.
I see when you tap out and then you get a chance to look at what's taking place. I was one of the ones telling everybody they should start streaming, not necessarily doing IRLs, but just streaming, speaking your voice, just doing what you need to do, you know? I feel like streamers is taking over the world, and it's happening. But one of the things I do see, Twitch is starting to become so overstimulating. These new kids that's coming on there are starting to look at a normal streamer in a different point of view that's botted. It's completely different. It's trash.
New streamers in 2025 have a much higher weight of expectations than new streamers in even 2020. IRL streaming is much more expensive than desktop streaming, but IRL streamers are getting the most views.
Twitch, it's becoming harder and harder for to become streamers because all y'all think y'all need to be doing IRLs. Y'all all trying to be like these niggas at the top. You got motherfuckers talking about desktop streaming is dying. How is that even possible? It's not even possible.
Yeah, okay, so if we're going to look at like who was the biggest blow up in streaming in the last year, it is not even an IRL streamer. And I would say as a matter of fact, this is true in almost all industries. When there is a trend, there tends to be an oversaturation in that trend because people like to like mimic whatever successful people do. And then what happens? Almost like clockwork, the viewers will be drawn towards something different because the viewers don't know what they want. They want their expectations like subverted in some fashion. So when IRL became oversaturated, okay, who blew up as the biggest streamer in the last year is like the Burnt Peanut. And now the Burnt Peanut goes live to like 100,000 viewers. So like, yeah, I totally buy that people did IRL because they saw other people do IRL. And I'm sure we'll see that trend continue where people like are mimicking whoever are at the top. But I also think that's not, I don't think this is like a problem because there are smart people, funny people, entertaining people who are going to like notice or just do what they're passionate about, and then people will be drawn to them. It's like gaming. We've talked about this before. I think it's so annoying when people are like, dude, I wish Twitch would go back to gaming. Like gaming is bigger on Twitch than it's ever been. Maybe not in the sense of like a percentage of the website's total viewership, but the amount of people who watch games and the amount of people who stream games are both higher. Just because it's not number one at the top of the directory doesn't matter. They are both factually higher. Like a queso could not have existed 10 years ago. Unheard of. A Burnt Peanut could not have existed 10 years ago. Unheard of. It doesn't make sense.
It's just the you watching. And remember, this ain't separate. This ain't got nothing to do with the groups or none of that. You should already know who the I'm talking about. I don't even have to say no names. And to be honest with you, FaZe and AMP and all them, they chilling. They good. These got all the resources. Bro, these elites. Y'all know the elites. I'm talking about y'all new. Y'all are getting caught in a wave y'all gonna die in. This shit that y'all seeing is not sustainable.
I can buy that that's apt. I think if you see someone else do a wave and you try to ride it, sometimes you die in the wave. I think that's apt. But they were also always meant to die. And there are many people who are not in that wave and they're creating their own one. And they're the ones who will succeed.
And these heightened expectations are even a problem for Soluminati. Having taken a break from streaming, he discovered that Blackboy Max had rented an entire mansion to do a love show full of other streamers, which placed an overwhelming weight of expectations on him.
Bro, shout out to Blackboy Max. Bro, this returned and did a whole show. How the f am I supposed to compete with these?
And Blackboy Max's decision to rent a mansion was actually much less.
I mean, I think this is just like, it's just like imposter syndrome. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, if you see someone else do something and it like gives you expectations on yourself and you're unable to like execute or push yourself, that's because there's a lot of people who are doing, you know, on an objective success metric more with less than Max and whoever. It's like there's not a lot that goes into Queso's streams outside of he has an awesome personality. So it's like, I don't know.
It's extravagant than what some of his peers got up to in 2025. Kai Cenat took over an entire university, and DDG built his own set from scratch for his show Are You My Ball. The simple fact is that streaming is becoming more and more like TV.
Yeah, but like, okay, some people are making it more and more like TV, and I've done that as well, and I've run really big events, but then there are many viewers who hate that shit. And they want like a streamer who they tune into who has a dog shit webcam and a dog shit mic that they feel like they're just watching. You know what I mean? Like, and they're not doing any crazy big events. And they love that shit. Like, what? It's not like you can't start streaming because you don't have the ability to make a TV show. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
And as a result is more and more out of reach of the everyday person. And this video from So motivated the streamer and YouTuber Lord Heck to give his thoughts as well.
My life, first of all, in order to do IRL streaming, the bar is set so high. You damn near got to be doing the iCarly series. If you guys know what iCarly is, it's basically like a TV web series, but recorded as a show.
Yeah, I know iCarly.
So all the activities and things that you see that that be happening on stream, they're not just happening randomly. They're set up, they're orchestrated, they're scripted. It's like,
But this is fake. This isn't true. If you have an awesome electric personality, like if you really have a one-on-one personality, that's actually more valuable than having the most like set up perfect streamer, whatever. Like that's just not true. It's not even close to true. I think but I think it's possible to fall into that trap. I think it's possible to believe that. This goes back to an old saying. Comparison is the thief of joy. If what you are doing is comparing yourself to others, then surely you will always find someone who's doing it bigger and better than you. And you will put yourself into paralysis to be unable to do anything. Get yourself out of that loop.
acting. It's like low budgeting acting. It's like acting at home. Like if you were to watch F1, the movie, instead of going to the movie theater, Twitch is the new movie theater and the new television, right? For the IRL streaming space. So in order for a newcomer to come in and be able to compete when they don't have a budget and don't have as many like crazy moments as the next guy, it's kind of gonna be like, okay, you're boring.
He also made the point that because short-form content and clipping is so important, streamers are basically fabricating clippable moments instead of streaming in the moment.
So short-form content is necessary, right? But the line that we need to draw is like, people are gonna be so desperate to make a clip farm moment that nothing's gonna be authentic anymore, right? Everything is just gonna look like it's for a clip instead of you being present for the stream, right? And that was the problem that I was running with when I recently started streaming with as well. And even though it's not that much of a problem, like making organic or just streaming without thinking about a moment and just being present in it is like, it's damn near like impossible to do.
And we're also seeing...
I think you're back to the comparison issue. Like, I do think that there are a bunch of people who clip farm. And I think in the same way that I would make a stream and try to get a YouTube video out of that stream, people try to get a clip out of a stream. And they do it in ways that are more forced and authentic and planned. And that absolutely does happen. And if you keep watching those people and keep comparing yourself to those people, even people who are paying clippers, you'll start doing what those people do. But I think if you take a step back and you think to yourself, what do I like? What do I want to create? What do I want to make? Then you are free from all these made up problems in your head. Because you would then focus on something that's genuinely authentic to you. And I think, it depends on the person, what they're into, how infectious their personality is. People are drawn to authentic people. That would do well. But I think you're fighting demons in your head because you are seeing what other people do and in getting into the rat race. And by that I mean, like, we gotta make our stream bigger and better. We gotta have a clip farm ready to go. We gotta, yeah. I don't think you gotta do all that. I really don't think you do. I look at people who have blown up just in the last 2 years. People really didn't stream. But KDB didn't really stream, started streaming 2 years ago, maybe two years and a few months. Okay, or Burnt Peanut started streaming a year and change ago. Okay. Huge streamers, massive streamers. And I think if you look at them, it's not about what they did, what game they grinded or whatever. It was about consistency, delusion that it would eventually work, and an infectious personality. That's really it.
Something similar that's happened to podcasting where people from other industries are trying to get involved. India Loved has moved from being an IG model to a streamer. Lil TJ and Nicki Minaj are just some of the rappers looking to break in. The NBA player Kyrie Irving is also trying to make a name in this field, but he has been someone that's been tapped into it for quite a while. And all of these people have much bigger resources and probably much more interesting lives than people starting out.
There's a lot of celebrities.
I couldn't disagree more. You know what I actually realized when celebrities stream is celebrities have boring fucking lives. You watch a Justin Bieber stream, plays a bit of basketball, he plays like mini golf, and then he sits around and talks for a while, and then he disappears for like 3 hours at a time. Like, celebrities have boring fucking lives, dude. I watched a Dwight Howard stream. He was in his living room. There was a camera behind him pointed at his TV. He was playing 2K. You couldn't see the TV because it was overexposed. He had 3 viewers. I was one of them. You know, one of the most famous NBA players alive. That was the stream. You know, wasn't... You're acting like Dwight Howard is like, what am I doing today? Hooping with LeBron, golf with Steph Curry. Then I was thinking of skydiving with, I don't know if you've heard of him, Michael Jordan. Like, that's not...
that don't need to be streaming, bro. Right? And I feel like IRL streaming, it has turned into one of them spaces where you can just get a quick dollar. You know what I'm saying? Because you got people like Tyler, which is she's an African artist, TYLA, right? You have people like there's some other rappers that's starting to stream now. I forget their name, but it slips my mind. I think it was Lil TJ. He was trying to stream the other day. I'm just like, bro, like some of y'all, no offense, but it's like, bro, all they have to offer is like behind the scenes of what happens at a music video, like flashy going shopping. Like they're not like.
Chat, no comments about someone's physical appearance. Hey, Maz, you gotta time that out.
They don't have a streamer personality. You get what I'm saying?
So the barrier of becoming a streamer has become so high now that many new streamers might feel like the ladder has been completely pulled up from them. The only hope for them now is that someone like an Aiden Ross or Kai Cenat co-signs them, and they can build a new audience from that endorsement. But the reality is that you don't need to be making money from streaming for it to be a waste of your time. Nightinator is a streamer that could arguably make more money purely focusing on short-form content and being an influencer, but genuinely loves the communal feeling of streaming.
But for me personally, there is nothing like the magic of creating a space that is alive and ever evolving on the internet. Somewhere that defies distance. It defies so many different things. It is so magical and incredible, and there is nothing else like it.
And if someone's a college student or someone that's streaming on the side, being able to speak in front of a group of people is a transferable skill in almost every career path. But above all, streaming is a great way to meet and interact with new people. You'll meet people with common interests, but you'll also come across people that you probably wouldn't be exposed to in your everyday life. And if you recall at the start of the video, Ludwig's first viewer was a guy named Oscar. And Oscar's a streamer who, of course, has the dream of becoming a big streamer, but also just finds the joy in streaming on its own.
In general, I'm a competitive gamer. I play a lot of competitive games, and I found that doing it with people watching me is way more fun than doing it by myself. I've been having fun, meeting new people, learning new things. I do reacts, I do just variety content in general. I just love streaming, and I hope to one day be an inspiration and be a very, very good
Dude, okay, I'm trying to be nice. This video added zero value, and really felt like somebody had watched my video and then went on x.com and saw a channel called, Kick Clips, and then pulled like 7 clips from that and then called it a day. There was like genuinely no value added to this in any way, shape, or form. I don't know if the goal of this was to prove that it is difficult to become a full-time streamer, and maybe that is the metric of success if you're able to make enough money on it. I don't think that is different now than it was, 7 years ago. Obviously, there was a lot of luck in terms of how much COVID blew up streaming, but I don't think it's like tough to become a streamer nowadays. And the point of my video, the whole point of my video is to prove that if the only thing you are doing in your pursuit to become a professional streamer is going live on Twitch, you're wasting your time, because Twitch is a website that doesn't put an emphasis on discoverability. Twitch only puts emphasis on keeping people who watch the website longer, right? So they watch it more often for more hours, and getting those people to spend more money. So they either consume more ads or give more subs or whatever it is. That is the only like 2 objectives of Twitch. They have almost zero effort into a, algorithm-based website where like you can get promoted in it. That was the whole point. And I think that's like, no, I don't think I'm like, I don't think I'm, throwing you for a loop when I say that. I think everyone's quite aware that the most successful algorithms to promote smaller creators are like short form content algorithms. That was the whole point. Is that even me, who like I'm able to average consistently over 10,000 people watching on Twitch and YouTube, If I go live on Twitch, I'm going to be stuck on one. That's the whole point. And if you do that 6 hours a day and every day, you're wasting your time. That's it. It is as feasible to become a big streamer in 2025 as it was in 2024, as it was in 2020, as it was in 2018, and so on and so forth. So I think for the premise that video set out to prove or disprove, it failed entirely. In like, whatever, I get it. That YouTuber exists to create daily videos of slop to make their livelihood. But I guess specifically about that topic, they had no idea what they were talking about. I know about so little in this world, dude. So yeah, when I see a video about a topic I'm knowledgeable about, especially that's using me as some evidence for a point, I get loud about it. What would you suggest then? Dude, I actually discovered life is an easy thing to do. Whatever pursuit you want to be successful in, it is so easy to do. Do you want to bench 225? Do you want to become a successful streamer? Do you want to become one of the best Minecraft speedrunners? All of those things are insanely easy. All you need, literally two things, is the delusion to believe that you can succeed at whatever goal you set out to do, and the consistency to keep pursuing that goal. Okay? That's it. That's literally it. That is everything. There's not even another variable in it. There's not even another variable in it. Now, I would argue you're predisposed in certain areas to be more or less successful than others. So like your personal potential is maybe not the best personal potential of a human. Like if you wanted to dunk a basketball and you're a 5'6" girl, it's going to be, you know, maybe outside of your range on a standard 10-foot net than if you were born a 6'6" man. But in pursuits that are not physically dependent, sky's the limit. But you know what I realize? Here's what I realize. I think most people don't actually care about grinding towards a goal. They just think it would be cool to have achieved the goal. So they're not interested in the pursuit of the goal. They just want to have done the goal. And they've thought about that and they thought that would be cool. You know what would be cool? Not doing my 9 to 5 and being a professional streamer. You know what would be cool is being able to go to the gym and bench 225. You know what would be cool is having 6-pack abs. That would be cool. But they have no enjoyment in the process of actually pursuing and achieving those things. And so they will, you know, they're doomed to fail at that thing. I have a goal for this year. I haven't announced this goal. I've kept this goal to myself so far. But I have a goal for this year. I want to do a handstand push-up. I think it'd be cool to do a handstand push-up. I have no idea how to do a handstand. I'm going to do a handstand push-up. Now, is it possible I fail to do it within this year? Absolutely. But I enjoy the pursuit of this goal. So I know as a fact I will achieve this goal. And if it's not this year, it will be next year. If not next year, it'll be the year after, so on and so forth. Because I like trying to do a handstand. I enjoy it. That's like a nonsensical goal. Why does a goal have to be sensical? All a goal needs to be is something you actually like doing, that you set out to do. Like, what makes a goal important? What makes sensicality an objective of your goal? Make your goal nonsensical this year, huh? Goals should be achievable. Why? The only reason a goal should be achievable is if you value the success of achieving the goal more than the pursuit of the goal. And when you have done that, you have already failed. What do you think happens when you achieve an achievable goal? Not everything is solved. Not your life is not complete. The game isn't over. Make unachievable goals this year. Why not?